Hey guys. Okay. Welcome once again to another Lavender Pen Creative Insights for the Creative, helping you to slow down, find your creative self. Also, tips on helping you live a more fulfilling life by accessing the creative. Okay, so today I want to go back to another one of my daily affirmation type of cards. This one here is a quote from Robert Schuller. Sorry, I'm holding up the mic. I wasn't holding it up. It says here, never sell tomorrow short. There's plenty to get excited about. Be filled with expectation, hope, and confidence. Believe something good is going to happen, and it usually will. That's Robert Schuller. I love that. And I tell you, this life as a creative, it really comes with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of wins and a lot of losses, a lot of L's. I'll tell you that, a lot of W's and a lot of L's. So I'm going to talk to you about one of the L's that I faced. And it was a hard one. It really was. It was during the pandemic. And I worked as a actor, singer, performer for a very long time, since my 20s. And I was working and I've done quite a few voiceovers, small roles here and there, and in animation as well as television, commercials and so on. So there was one audition that I did and there was an opportunity where I actually booked a very large role in this animation in a well-known cartoon that a lot of the kids right now will know. I'm not going to say which one it is, but I booked it and it was like, oh, God, I made it. I'm here. I'm finally here. Because the thing is, I'll tell you one thing, and we can talk about this a little bit more another day, but being part of the performance and in the acting world, it really is a culture of rejection. So I know what it's like to be rejected. I know what it's like to almost make it, almost make it, almost make it. And then it's like, sorry. I have had times where I've been booked and then it was just like, actually, no, never mind. So this was one of those times. I booked this job for this cartoon series and it was a regular. It wasn't it wasn't recurring. It wasn't voice act just actor or anything. This was regular. And when I say this animation world is no joke. So I used to so I would record and it was like every week I'm recording. The recording's like 15 minutes and that's enough. Like I wouldn't need to work a day job with those 15 minutes of recording. I was like, yes, God. Okay. Okay, here we are. And then one day I did a recording. And I heard the person on the other side and something in the voice didn't feel great. And after that recording, I got a message from my agent. And she was like, unfortunately, they're basically dropping me from the role because it just they're going a different way with the character. And when I say that, that was hard. That felt like rejection, like straight up rejection. I don't even know how else to describe it because at that point, it was like the validation that I needed to be able to say, hey, this is my character. This is who I am. Recognizable series and everything. And it was like, oh, success in this area, only to just all of a sudden be dropped. And I remember for a long time, I walked around like feeling dejected, feeling like I sucked, feeling like it just was such a disappointment. And and then I just kind of had to pick up myself and just go back to square one, auditioning again. And and I remember one day recalling that story to my sister. And maybe like the next day I got a different role, but it wasn't a big role. It was just like, they call like it's recurring, but it wasn't just like the same kind of thing. But it's like the job came at the right time, but it still wasn't the same. So all of this to say that when you're putting it before people, you will receive rejection. But the key is to understand that even with the rejection, it does not say anything about your skill, your ability, your talent. What I noticed is that number one, they didn't fully know what they wanted from the character because there were conflicting um, descriptions. So something that they might have liked in my voice at first, as they progressed and as the character starts to develop there and as the show comes together, because remember, it's not just one voice, there are other voices that are involved. Once that show starts to come together, then it's like, this does not fit in here. She does not fit here. It doesn't mean that she won't fit somewhere else. It doesn't mean that she's not good at what she does. She's gotten this far, but it's just not a fit for here. It's a hard pill to swallow, but at the same time, it's the reality and the truth of life in general, is that sometimes you don't fit into some settings. Sometimes you don't fit into some roles. Sometimes you will not make it past a certain audition, and that is okay. You just keep going until you find the opportunity that is for you. Sometimes that opportunity may not even be in that field. It might be somewhere else. But the truth of the matter is that you have to remain authentic to who you are, remain authentic to your craft and yourself and the things that you love to do, and the right opportunity will stay with you at the right time. Yeah. And there are seasons for these things as well. When I was in my 20s, the season for me to do a lot of the arts, the performance arts, it was like at its peak, and I did a lot of different things in that area. And as I find myself becoming more mature and older, I'm noticing that opportunities are arising in other areas, and they all kind of work together in season and out of season. So, what did I learn from all of this? Let's see. Success and rejection, they go hand in hand. You will be rejected. You will be, people will swipe. People will swipe. They might not listen to what you have to say. They might not like you. They might not like what you're doing. They might love what you're doing, but still not really care that much. They might love what you're doing. They might not react. And all these different things says nothing about you. These are all external things, but it does not say anything about your greatness, how great you are, and your capabilities. Booking a job is not security. Booking a job is access. I booked those jobs, and there were how many checks did I got out of that? I had access to something, but these things are temporal. These things are temporary. Booking a job doesn't mean security. It really doesn't. Do not place all your hopes in the one job. That's another thing. have other things that you're working on, have other things that you fall back on, because nothing's guaranteed. What else? Industry's direction change constantly. One thing that is up right now is down the other. Remember, industries change. If you achieve success in one area, be thankful, be grateful for that success, but understand that values migrate. Not only industries change, but we also change. So where you might fit in one area in your artistic life and at one point in time, you might be able to play a certain role because of maturity, because of life changes. You might now move into another category. Prepare your mind for that. Prepare your mind for different shifts. I remember I used to take my kids to do voiceover training for certain ages, and they would have voiceover tapes with their voice, as a prepubescent teen. But then all of a sudden, puberty hits and their voice changes. And then all of a sudden, adulthood comes and they have a different voice. You don't use the same voiceover tape that you had when you were a child into your adulthood. So you have to understand that things change and now you got to move with that. So it's okay to let go of what was and move to what's next. Because again, we work in seasons. What else? External validation is a terrible foundation for a creative life. Can't look to the outside world to validate what you're doing. You have to be able to look at your own work and say, I like this. You critique your own stuff. Yes, even if everybody else hates it. If you can look at it and say, this resonates with me. That's what truly, truly matters. People are not always going to follow with you. And you see this with a lot of influencers and a lot of artists, that one moment they have the whole crowd and then the next minute it's on to the next. So you can't look towards external validation as your foundation. You just have to believe in yourself. Another thing that I learned is if your worth rises with every yes and falls with every no, you will never be steady. If your worth rises with every yes and falls with every no, you will never be steady. That one is the truth. I don't know what else to say about that one. So my reflection is, being rejected is not meant to break you. It shouldn't break you. It should humble you, and it should leave space for gratitude for every job that you do get. It's a step in the right direction. It is something to be proud of and to be grateful for. Your gifts, the giver of your gifts, that's the thing that is the constant, is God in you, who is the giver of gifts, the one who has provided this creativity for us to have. And we use it in order to help others, to help ourselves, to heal the world around us. And that in itself is a wonderful thing. Use every opportunity, the good ones and the bad ones, as a lesson to learn and a lesson to teach others. So, with that, go back to let's see. Never sell tomorrow short. There's plenty to get excited about. Be filled with expectation, hope, and confidence. Believe something good is going to happen, and it will. Regardless of the rejection, good things are going to happen. Until next, peace out.